With the knowledge that the NieR Automata collaboration will come one day but not today and not tomorrow and definitely not yesterday, let's take the time to look back and see if we can figure out what could show up in the future. Now the number of past NieR Automata units are 6. 210, 2B, 9S, A2, B3, C4, Atom, and Eve. Of the 6, only Atom was free, while 2B and A2 were the prize units, and the rest were of the other rarities. Depending on how the collaboration goes, meaning if Japan gets their grubby paws on it or not, what we will get can change significantly. Let's take a look at one of our past collaborations, War of Divisions. We actually got Venera Fennis first, a dark damage dealer of a strong 90% defense break, but when the Japanese version had the collaboration, they changed her into a fire damage dealer and showcased King Super Limit Burst Mont. This can also be seen with other global original events, like Louise and White Dragon Link. Louise actually got buffed, because Japanese dub. Though it came at the cost of all her support buffs, funny bad voice acting, and she actually turned into a light damage dealer. Ling lost a lot of her support buffs, but she did gain quite a bit in exchange. Honestly, Ling is just very different. Anyways, what I do view as the biggest factor in all this is the Super Limit Burst. Units with Super Limit Burst tend to have their kit centralized around it, which makes sense, but also results in most of them being extraordinarily simple and rather easily power crap. The thing that's unfortunate about most of the NieR Automata units are the potential lack of support angles. 210 could be a support unit, but can you really see 210 as the prize candidate over characters like A2 or 2B? 9S is in a similar spot, though admittedly better. Atom and Eve I highly doubt we'll see. Well, regardless, let's take a quick look at what they all did. 210 could heal their team, boost their stats, Libra and lower elemental resistance, and her Limit Burst packed a bunch of status ailments. She'd need more to her kit if she were to appear today. 9S could lower elemental resistance, inflict breaks, grant mitigation, and play with status ailments. Having him appear again as a flexible supporter and debuffer could be a potential route. His Trustmaster reward is pretty neat as it let anyone who equipped it use 3 support abilities: Heal, Protect, or Chain, and it's not impossible to picture something like that in the future. Eve was a physical damage dealer. He was also a physical damage dealer. Atom's like Eve. I guess if they were to have a chance of appearing, it'd be together as a tag team unit. Though honestly, I can only really picture them acting like heroes in Ward. A2 is also a physical damage dealer. She actually had a few notable qualities that might hold some significance for the future. She could hurt a team member to fully restore her HP and MP, she could jump, and her Limit Burst can make her glow red. If she were to appear again, she'd likely incorporate Berserk's additional attack boost for further damage. 2B is actually the latest updated unit of this batch. She could eat a fish and kill herself, self-destruct and kill herself, or set an auto-revive in case she killed herself. I think there are other cool things too, but those weren't as funny. Overall, if they were to appear again, they'd need a huge overhaul to their current capabilities. Sure, units like A2 can be updated by simply adding a passive that boosts the damage modifier of their physical attacks or something, but they're a business, you have to keep in mind their main goal. You also have to think about what makes a unit sell today. To the global player base, that's variety, that's damage, that's big numbers, and all of that is in one of 2 forms which will then cover another part of the game once you get into it. To the Japanese player base, I don't know, just slap big numbers and they'll ignore everything else, they're pretty weird that way. Regardless, as a global player, it's support and debuffs over big damage. Recently, the biggest supports are 250% killer buffs and 100% elemental amplification buffs. While I can't see either 2B or A2 amplifying a team's elemental damage, I can see them granting killer buffs. Machines are the obvious choice, but recently it's been 3 or 4 killers. Or, 6 if they're feeling ambitious. Units like 210 or 9S could also adopt that angle, if they were being selected. Then they could add that with amplified support, though I suppose more will be needed. As for elemental imbues, only 2B could actually do that, and only to herself. She was lightning, while everyone else is actually non-elemental. Now it would be cool if they were flexible, with the choice to imbue themselves and get stronger with their favorite element, but then you have to worry about who they'll compete against. Lightning is the Hooded Bunny, and she's a great unit. Wind and Earth also saw huge shifts of Wilk. Regardless, if we were to talk about elemental support, it could also throw that onto the other support units. Wow, you two aren't getting any attention at all. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, the big thing we're seeing from most collaborations is strong damage. The last real support-oriented collaboration unit was Alphonse and Edward Elric, who could switch elemental imbues. Full Metal Alchemist was a pretty cool collaboration, considering we got 2 Neo Vision Awakened units too. Lara Croft had a 90% defense break and dealt more damage to certain enemies, Trials of Mana was all different types of damage, Dragon Quest Monsters had Slimes damage, Xenogears was big robot damage, War of the Visions had a physical tank and Venera Fennis, and the Dragon Quest featured units were also all damage except for those 2 tanks. So overall, I'm pretty confident the upcoming collaboration should just be big damage again. Maybe throw in some breaks if we're lucky. I do think a 9S support unit who turns into a strong damage dealer would be the way to go, but I guess they could just apply that to 2B or A2, even though they don't sound like support units. When it comes to damage, I'm guessing they'll chain a Bolting Strike given how popular it is now, even though the few chaining families they did have were Starless Ray, Absolute Mirror of Equity, or even Graviton Cannon. But I mean, back then the developers were happy with releasing flexible damage dealers anyways. It's really hard to imagine one of the others getting a big revival, so if they do it, it might be a super limited burst. Of course, there's also the chance we could see totally different characters, like 2B, Apola, or Yorha number 2 Type B. Really, could be anyone. I do hope whoever it is, or hopefully they, come with a brave shift. 9S, yeah, turn into a damage dealer. A2 could either turn red or cut her hair. And 2B could swoop in on that flying robot thing or self-destruct. It could really go either way.